Whatever angle you come at this on, nobody should be ignoring this headline that we are potentially building solar farms that have been constructed in part by slaves in China. Eleanor Lyons is the UK's independent anti-slavery commissioner. Eleanor, good afternoon to you. Nice to have you with us. I mean, this, again, take the specific politics out of this, where, you know, net zero, somebody's over there, somebody's over there. I mean, this story is, you know, incredibly important for another reason, and that is that we could be constructing huge swathes of our land into solar farms that have been manufactured by modern-day slavery.
Yeah, so it's deeply concerning to see that the government has approved this rollout of a new solar farm, where we can see in the planning application that there were concerns outlined that the solar panels used are likely to be made with forced labour. A rollout of clean energy needs to be clean in every sense, and we need to make sure that this government is committed to tackling you know, kind of key issues with protecting vulnerable people right around the world.
When somebody like yourself and organisations similar contact the government and say, you might just want to have a closer look at what you're dealing with here, what kind of reply is there?
So I do regularly, as an independent commissioner, speak to government and try to hold them to account on these areas. For instance, in the Great British Energy Act, which has just been passed by this government, they said that they will not roll out supply chains in their kind of race to net zero, which are made with goods which have been manufactured in areas with high levels of forced labour. Sadly, this is a case that they don't seem to be taking seriously, and we're seeing this in the new solar farm in Lincolnshire. I think they are prioritising the race to net zero over human rights, and that's something that I think is particularly concerning.
Yeah, I mean, it is the 21st century. Have they not clocked that? I mean, you know, a couple of hundred years ago, all manner of horrible things were going on when it comes to slavery and abuse of human beings, whether it was boatloads of people being taken from their country, whether it was us over here sticking kids up chimneys and women in the most horrendous positions in society. Yeah, we move forward and we learn from that kind of stuff. We apologise for that kind of stuff. It's not as if we haven't got precedents for what, you know, how horrendous the human condition sometimes is in its worst forms. So you might think this would be more than just an alarm bell. It would be a point when you go, right, OK, we'll get our solar panels elsewhere because there's a fella in Bournemouth makes them, he can do it, you know, or something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So sadly, slavery is not just in the history books. Over 50 million people are living globally in modern day slavery, and over 27 million of those are in labour exploitation. The UK is incredibly behind with how we treat this issue compared to our international partners. America and the EU have taken steps to protect their markets from becoming dumping grounds from goods made with forced labour, and this government has not taken those steps. So we have less protection in our law, and you're seeing some of the consequences from this in the fact that we're rolling out across the British countryside solar farms, which we know are likely to be made in areas where there's forced labour in the Xinjiang region.
And finally, Eleanor, is that it then? Do we have to just roll over and go, OK, here's some solar panels. They're made by slaves. You know, some of them don't make it through the week. Others are just exhausted. Either way, they're abused in some form or another. We've just got to run with it because Ed Miliband is more obsessed with that target than looking at the human rights issue.
So in my independent role, I'm not taking no for an answer on this, and I'm doing a new piece of work on exactly this area, looking at what legislation is needed in the United Kingdom for us to catch up with our international partners. British businesses can't compete with companies that can undercut them because they're using forced labour. We need new legislation on mandatory human rights due diligence and sensible controls so that we're making sure that all the goods that are purchased in the United Kingdom are not made by some of the most vulnerable slaves in China.
Eleanor, thank you for your time. Really appreciate that. Eleanor Lyons, the UK's independent anti-slavery commissioner.